Right, welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, you read the title, Star Wars Setback. The Game of Thrones duo, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, have exited the trilogy. Now, this is interesting for many, many reasons. This was long on the cards, actually, because recently we had already heard that they were doing a monumental deal with Netflix. Huge deal with Netflix. And what they were touted as creating for the Star Wars trilogy has changed over the course of the past, couple of years since it was announced now. So this is, it's been a year or so, isn't it? Announced in 2018. So this is no surprise. But I also think that this is a true sign of how, basically how no one really wants to work on Star Wars. Most people would have been absolutely overjoyed, thrilled to be given the keys to the castle of one of the most lucrative franchises of all time. These guys, who did really well with the first couple series of Game of Thrones and then botched it towards the end, would have equally have been overjoyed to do it. But we've got to read between the lines on this, because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, but this is a given. They're just walking away from it because of this and because of this. No. It's genuinely not, actually. It's not a case of them walking away. It sounds like they've been phased out, and it sounds like what they've been doing is looking for something else. Hence why they signed their Netflix deal. So Star Wars is dead. I think filmmakers don't really want to work on Star Wars anyway. And I think this proves it. So let's get into it. This is a exclusive report to Deadline. And it says, exclusive, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, the duo who in 2011 launched the singular screen sensation known as Game of Thrones, have walked away from their much publicised deal with Disney's Lucasfilm to launch a feature film trilogy in 2022. Now, Benioff and Weiss were supposed to usher in the post-Skywalker era of the Star Wars brand with a 2022 New Start story that would take out a new frontier for the era-defining cinema brand created by George Lucas. Now, the Emmy-winning pair cited their historic deal with Netflix. Now, they said that their enthusiasm for Star Wars remains boundless, but regrettably their schedule is full up. It's not. And we'll get to that in a second, because it's not. And previous statements indicate that. I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes here, which is not really, a lot of people are going to overlook, basically. So it says, we love Star Wars, the pair said in a statement to Deadline, hence it being an exclusive to them. When George Lucas built it, he built us too. Getting to talk about Star Wars with him and the current Star Wars team was the thrill of a lifetime, and we will always be indebted to the saga that changed everything. So a few things to note here. They were in discussions with George Lucas and the team. They were talking to them prior to this exit. Now, it says that 2022 release date made the Benioff and Weiss startup the next inline Star Wars installment, following this December's The Rise of Skywalker, the final chapter of the Skywalker family chronicles that have been captivating moviegoers since 1977. Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy has plenty of other Star Wars projects in the hopper. The Rise of Skywalker in December, The Mandalorian in 15 days on Disney+, which is not being released in the UK thus far, and the ramping Ewan McGregor series, to name just three. So it's unclear how much of a setback the now nixed trilogy presents. There's no shortage of upcoming collaborators lined up either, among them Rian Johnson and Kevin Feige. Rian Johnson has made some comments recently which indicate that he's not actually involved. I know we've been going backwards and forwards on that, but he has genuinely come out and said something. It was a few seconds on a red carpet event, but he said something along the lines of, yeah, you know, if it works, it works. If not, don't worry about it, sort of thing. Very, very much a change of tune. Now, it says Kennedy didn't shut any doors in her send-off statement on Monday. David Benioff and Dan Weiss are incredible storytellers. We hope to include them in the journey forward when they are able to step away from their busy schedule to focus on Star Wars. Clearly, it's a big fizzle ending for the Firecracker Fuse headline from February 2018, blah, 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 blah. Now, it went on to say, there are only so many hours in the day, and we felt we could not do justice to both Star Wars and our Netflix projects, the Game of Thrones pair said in a statement to Deadline, so we are regretfully stepping away. Now, a few things to note here. The deal with Netflix isn't like a one and done kind of thing. So here's the initial report with the Netflix deal. Okay, so it says nobody was confirming numbers, but sources tell Deadline the deal is in the 9-figure range, like some of the other mega deals signed by show creators like Shonda Rhimes and Ryan Murphy, each of whom also moved to Netflix. The deal for Benioff and Weiss, which we hear is for 5 years and is worth as much as $300 million, which was brokered by Gretchen Rush, their longtime attorney at Hansen Jacobson Teller. Why do attorneys have such long ass bloody names? When Deadline revealed that Benioff and Weiss were meeting on the overall deal at the blah 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 blah, Netflix confirmed to Deadline that it had won the deal. So said Netflix Chief Content Officer Ted Sarandos, "We are thrilled to welcome master storytellers David Benioff and Dan Weiss to Netflix. They are a creative force and have delighted audiences worldwide with their epic storytelling. We can't wait to see what their imaginations will bring to our members." Now, their deal itself is like a 5-year deal, and you produce X, Y, and Z in that 5 years. It's not a case of you must produce X, Y, and Z by this amount of time, and they have quite a lot of flexibility with this Netflix deal. Then not only that, the other thing that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention, which I think is more telling, is actually when we're talking about how much time they have a lot of time, because what they were only touted as doing for the Star Wars was only a script treatment. Now, if you know anything, because again, initially it was reported they're going to be doing a trilogy, right? That was the initial report. We're going to be doing a trilogy, 3 films. They're going to be headlining it, everything. And that undoubtedly would have been a lot of work, plus all the Netflix stuff. For sure, that would have been. But then over in August, so a couple months ago, we then heard that wasn't the case, actually. They weren't doing 3 movies. That the deal now was only, so sources say that the Thrones Pet is writing a treatment for a Star Wars trilogy and is committed to penning at least one of the films. The original deal was to write all 3. So this has been a long time coming. A long time coming. It's unclear if the duo, who also have another feature for Fox Disney carved out, will do more than just write for Star Wars. Now, if anyone knows anything about script treatments, a script treatment can literally be a couple of A4 pages. And that's all that they were committed to doing. Writing one script treatment. Sources say the Thrones Pair is writing a treatment for a Star Wars trilogy and is committed to penning at least one of the films. So, essentially, they had only committed in this deal. And again, remember, these are master storytellers. Master storytellers can do a script treatment in not a lot of time because it's just the outline. So 3 outlines plus 1 script. Okay. A script which would likely get passed around and reworked anyway. There's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot to read between the lines. This whole nonsense of them exiting and going, yeah, no, it's just because our time is really, we're just we're just booked up. This Netflix deal is way too much. It's nonsense. It is nonsense, and it's not a case of, I just hate on Star Wars and all of this garbage. Just literally look at the facts. They said that they were only doing a script treatment. Again, if you know anything about scripts, script treatments can be as little as a few A4 pages. Very, very vague. Character here does character Y, blah, blah, blah. It's very, very simplistic. Script treatments are not that in-depth. They can be. Don't get me wrong. They can be in-depth, but they don't necessarily always have to be. So, I thought I'd bring you this news. What do you think? I genuinely think this is a sign that Star Wars is in trouble. I think they... Bearing in mind what was announced first was this Star Wars thing. Thanks, mate. Bearing in mind what was announced first was this Star Wars thing, right? And then we heard that they had the Netflix deal. Then it was announced that they are doing the script treatments. So we got in August script treatments. In August, literally just before actually, sorry. So Netflix deal in August 7th and then August 15th. they're only doing a few script treatments. I think this is a sign of them going, yeah, we don't want to. We either don't want to work on Star Wars anymore, or Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm didn't want them to work on Star Wars anymore. But they're a shit show anyway. They are genuinely, they don't know what they're doing anymore. So anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you are new here, make sure you do hit subscribe. You can stay up to date on the world of pop culture and movie news and deep dives like this on the industry by hitting the bell notification icon. Please do hit that bell notification icon. And also just check back, because a lot of people are not being notified of my videos. I know that for a fact. And a lot of people are being unsubscribed. So do check that you are subscribed. YouTube is systematically going around unsubscribing people. Initially, I just had like a few people saying it, and I was like, it's nonsense. It's a lot of people saying it now, so just as a heads up, please do check. If you want to support the channel further, obviously, outside of subscribing and liking videos, sharing them as well, I've got my merch store underneath every single video by Teespring. I've got some cool designs there, Space Jeebus Mark II. Check it out if you want to praise be to the Cosmic Lord, Space Jeebus. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been Mr. H. Take care.